Hello friends, welcome back. I know it's been a long time since I've done a video. I do apologize. We've just been busy with life here, and I do have another YouTube channel. Originally this was going to be my main channel, and the other channel was just kind of an outlet for DIYs and home decor, lifestyle type stuff. So yeah, we've been doing a remodel, and if you're curious about that remodel and want to watch it, I did full episodes of the remodel, so you could go to my other channel and watch each one of the episodes, and we're not finished with it yet. The remodel originally started because, you know, years of urine-soaked carpets and just, you know, wanting a new fresh start. Since Rad has moved out, that's where the remodel originally, why we wanted to do a remodel, and it has gone so good. I'm so happy, especially the new floors. The smell of urine is gone. Yay! So yeah, like I said, you can find me on my other YouTube channel if you are curious and want to watch those. It's under my name, which is Tina Golick. And yeah, this channel has just kind of became my secondary channel, and I didn't originally want it to be that way, but I've just focused more on the other channel, and this one has just reached 1,000 subscribers. My other channel is over 23,000 subscribers, so just a huge difference. So anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about an advanced directive, what it is, how to put one together, and why you might need one, and the benefits of it. So I actually had a parent coach show me how to make one. She actually had the papers already put together, so I just had to print them out and fill them in, and added my own, what I felt like I needed to add to it. And I would definitely suggest that for you guys. Just I don't actually have one that's completely put together because I haven't needed one for a while, but I will say I have everything that I would normally put in it. I've blacked out private information, names, telephone numbers, that type of stuff. But the reason being is because I do want to show you guys up close what it looks like, what I've put on mine. And yeah, the reason that you might want one is there's a couple of different groups on Facebook. I read your guys' comments, and so many of you have children that are just getting to the age that they're getting more violent, getting more aggressive, and you don't know if you should call the police on them or not. I will say for that, don't make the mistake that I did. I never called the police on my daughter. I didn't want to have to do that. So you want to have one for, you know, if you do need to call the police, you're making a paper trail. Every time you call the police, you're making a paper trail. If they print something out for you or there was an incident, keep those papers. Make a little drawer or something just for those type of papers. Doctor's reports, therapy reports, psychiatrist reports. If your child's regular physician says anything that is out of the ordinary that you feel is pertinent information and is associated with their disorder or a mental illness that maybe correlates with the reactive attachment disorder diagnosis, save those papers. Make copies of them. That way you have multiples. You don't ever run out. You don't ever want to, let's say, okay, this paper, I'm going to use this as an example, and it backs up the diagnosis, basically. But I wouldn't want to put this in the advanced directive and hand it to someone and then not have this. So I'll make copies, and I never want to give out the last one and not be able to have copies of it. So always keep, whatever you're copying, always keep one so you have that to copy and to use to put in your advanced directives. So the people that I might give this to is the police department. That way they can look over the symptoms, they can look over my child's behaviors, the diagnoses. They have the doctor, they've got the therapist, they've got everyone's phone number, they can contact anyone, and they know exactly what they're going to be up against with this child because it's all written out there for them. I would also give one to the hospital and to the school. I would give one to my child's regular physician, and if they're going to go into a respite program or a treatment center of some sort, I would give them one as well. And you know, whoever else you feel would need one. We had even given one to our pastor at our church, so they knew they could forewarn maybe the Sunday school teacher or who, because these children can be very manipulative and very convincing at lies. So this gives everyone a clear understanding of what the disorder is, what this child's normal, what their normal is, behaviors, and what they can expect from that child. So a lot of people don't even know what reactive attachment disorder is. So when you hand them this, they can read through it. I have also the treatment center that she went to. I have a copy of their findings and their final report, and I also have Googled reactive attachment disorder, the symptoms, and just printed that out. So it's just easy for them to look over. Okay, so mine is actually from Nancy Thomas's website, and it just gives the list of symptoms for reactive attachment disorder, the most common symptoms, and they can look over it. And then, you know, I also have for my child what their symptoms are. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around so I can show you exactly what is on here. Okay, so at the top of the page, I want to clearly mark what exactly this is, and it is a Childhood and Adolescent Mental Health Advanced Directive. That way, whoever I hand this to knows exactly what it is. So then I've put, this letter is to inform the local authorities of the behavioral and mental health issues with my child. I've put her name, birth date, social security number, and let them know that this is prior to an incident that may include their department. So if this is the police department or the hospital, then they would have a clear understanding of this child ahead of time. Then I've listed our address, what town and state we live in, and our home phone number. Other members of our family include, and then our birth dates and relation to the child. So if you have other children in the home, list them as well. Then you're going to want to list their official diagnoses. So my daughter had other things that therapists suspected, like schizophrenia and psychopathy. But they could not diagnose those because she was too young. There's an age limit here. So I have only listed the official diagnoses, and I would suggest that for you as well. Then you're going to want to list any medications, and then outburst of behavior may include and look like but not limited to. And then you're just going to add in there what your child's normal is, what they do. Maybe they scream, maybe they stop talking, maybe they just stare at a wall. Whatever it is, list it. So these are just things that my daughter would do. I've also added that she could not be alone with small children, and it was documented by multiple different therapists that she had fantasies about wanting to murder a toddler. She could not be alone with pets, and it's because she has killed pets and mistreated pets, been mean to them. I've also added the treatment center's final report, and they concluded that as well. She was mean to their pets as well. And she cannot be alone with males. Did not matter what age they are. At, I think, 14, my daughter was having a sexual relationship with her biological mom's boyfriend, who was 38. When she was in that treatment center for 2 years, I think she was there 12, 13, and 14. Because when she got back, she went to go live with bio mom briefly. But yeah, we had gotten a call from the lady who ran the place, and apparently it was an ongoing problem. Our daughter was trying to lure a 7-year-old boy behind the shed to be alone with him. So she had no age discrimination when it came to males. So if that's your child, definitely put that on the list. So next, I've added my child's behavioral management team and who they consist of. I've listed in order. The primary therapist first, and I give their name, location, and contact information, email and phone number. And I also add what state, because a lot of times respite, and especially if you're going to see a specialist, they're sometimes in a different state than you. I've added who I use for respite and my parent coach, and then backup respite and parent coach. And then I also add the hospital that I would prefer my daughter go to in case she needed to be taken to a hospital. This is the hospital that I would prefer. So if you're not choosy with that, then don't add that. But if you prefer a specific hospital, then make sure and list that. And that hospital would be the one that I would give an advance directive to. So pertinent information to help assess the situation include the symptoms of the diagnosis. So for my daughter, these are symptoms that she is known for. A lot of these are typical RAD symptoms, but you also want to add what your child is known for. So my daughter, abnormal speech patterns, including monotone voice, speaking slowly and whispering. My daughter was always whispering. She loved to make people say, what, you know. Or at other times, she might be really, really loud. So these are just normal things for her and things that they could expect. So I wanted to include those in there so they would have, you know, a heads up of what to look for or expect. So in the event of harm to the parent or child, please notify the following emergency contacts. So I've listed my husband, his contact information, and the relation to the child. I've also listed grandpa. So you add whatever contact information you feel, you know, maybe you want to add your primary doctor on there as well. And then at the end, I've added, we ask that your department be informed of the situations in our home and that this information be considered in making any decisions in regard to this incident. Please note that children with attachment disorder thrive on the attention of persons in the community and will be charming and deceptive in their story. Please contact the primary therapist to have a clear picture of the scope of this child's behavior and family composition. In talking through any incident with the family, please talk with the parents out of the earshot of the child. We ask that this child not be questioned alone or out of the earshot of the parent. This child has a history of pathological lying and will try and triangulate any adults involved. And I think that would stand for any child with reactive attachment disorder. So lastly, I've added a place for the legal guardian to sign and date. So if that's multiple people in your family, go ahead and put multiple lines for them to sign. I just put one for my husband. So the next thing, like I said, that I have on here is the final report from the treatment center that she had been in. And it just clearly kind of reiterates what we have said. It tells what they had been informed of upon her being admitted to this place, and her early development, went through her education, and I mean, they cover everything. So it also says they give her previous treatment history, and even the present problems. So in this report, it says that, let's see. So anything similar to this is the kind of information you want to have in your advanced directive. So that's why I'm reading through this stuff, so you'll understand what would be good stuff to put in there. So supposing you are one of those people, put yourself in that person's place, you've never heard of it, you don't know what it is, whatever's going to explain it and save you, the parent, time. I don't know about you, but I got really tired of telling my story over and over and over, especially you have a new doctor, you're going to a new school, you have talking to a police officer, or let's say you switch churches. That happens a lot with rad kids. You have to switch churches. You're having to tell your story again and again and again. So this is going to save you from telling that story over and over. You just hand them this paper or this packet of papers. So what this woman who ran this treatment center had put in here was, upon admission to this program, and then she says her name, but I'll just say she, upon admission to this program, she was reported to display a plethora of maladaptive behaviors, including frequent urinating in appropriate places, stealing, excessive, extravagant lying, sexualized behavior, gross defiance, destruction of property, continuous extreme bids to control her environment, mood dysregulation, sleep disturbances, extremely manipulative and triangulation of adults, fantasies of harming or killing toddlers, extreme conflict seeking and stimulus seeking associated with intolerance of the same, lack of cause and effect thinking, difficulty recognizing and following social norms, excessive external dependency, defiance, bullying, poor frustration tolerance. She regularly employed other adults against her parents by making extravagant allegations of extreme abuse, which were investigated by Children and Family Services and were unfounded. So that would also be something that you would want to add in your advanced directive if you had been falsely accused and CPS had investigated you and it was unfounded. Put those papers in there. Add a copy in there so it can be easily seen. Yes, you were accused, but it was unfounded. Her founding of this, the conclusion is, upon admission, she did display all of the presenting problems reported by her parents. Additionally, to what we said, what they observed was she went AWOL and ran away a few times, shoplifted, hitchhiked, bullied animals and younger peers. She was disruptive, displayed very little insight, judgment, or empathy. Her diagnosis of reactive attachment disorder, ADHD, and mood disorder were substantiated by multiple inventories and testings. Additionally, she was found to struggle with auditory processing and auditory discrimination, as well as organizing and sequencing. So that was just how her brain actually functioned. So in a place like that, in this place, they did multiple different types of testing on her actual brain scans. They had multiple different therapy groups, private one-on-one therapy with an educated person who knows what RAD is and cannot be manipulated. And they also did group therapy with other kids that were there too. And they find that group therapy works really well with these kids. What their peers think of them matters more to them than what authorities or adults think of them. So that's something to keep in mind. So I've added that in there. I've also added, like I said, the Nancy Thomas printout, and it just gives a list of the symptoms. And yeah, for the actual diagnosis, I'm not sure exactly how many of the symptoms they actually have to have, but it is a good number of them. They cannot just have like 1 or 2 of these symptoms. This is not an easy diagnosis to get. And I've actually had people, her grandparents that she's living with now, actually have told people that I have just brainwashed her into believing that she has this disorder, as if I have the power to convince her and all of these other people that she has this disorder. No, that is multiple different doctors. Like, even with that report, it said multiple different doctors substantiated that diagnosis. So I'm just going to go over the symptoms real quick for you. I'm sure that you already know them, but just in case. Superficially engaging and charming, lack of eye contact on parents' terms, indiscriminately affectionate with strangers, not affectionate on parents' terms, not cuddly, basically, destructive to self, others, and material things, or accident prone. With my daughter, accident was used accident because it wasn't ever an accident, but she would call it such. Cruelty to animals, lying about the obvious, which is in Rad World called crazy lying. Stealing, no impulse controls, or frequently hyper. Learning lags, lack of cause and effect thinking, lack of a conscience, abnormal eating patterns. The abnormal eating patterns could also include eating things that are not meant to be eaten, such as soap, laundry soap, gosh, I can't even think of what, but things that aren't normally meant to be eaten. Sometimes I'll eat those type of things. Usually the abnormal eating patterns are they'll eat what they steal and have food stashed in their rooms, but they won't eat meals that mom has prepared for them because food equals love. And yeah, so poor peer relations, preoccupation with fire. That is literally the only symptom that my daughter did not have. All of the other ones she had, that was literally the only one she did not have. Preoccupation with blood and gore, persistent nonsense, questions and chatter, inappropriately demanding and clingy, abnormal speech patterns, triangulation of adults, false allegations of abuse, presumptive entitlement issues, and on the list of symptoms is parents appear hostile and angry. And they are very angry because they're being falsely accused. And of course, people are going to believe the innocent looking little child to the angry parent, you know. So let's see. I would also say if your child has other diagnoses, which usually they do, it's not just reactive attachment disorder. There's usually some sort of, or a couple of different mental illnesses that go along with it. I would Google those and just print out the definition of them and the symptoms of them. So just in case, you know, you run across somebody who had never heard of that, didn't know what the symptoms of reactive attachment disorder are, or bipolar disorder, or oppositional defiant disorder. Maybe they don't know what the symptoms are. You've got it all printed out there in a nice, neat little pack, stapled together, ready to hand someone, and you don't have to do a lot of talking to explain your story over and over. You can just hand it to them. They have all of the history they need to, everything they need to know about that child is right there at their fingertips. I think I've covered everything. I hope so anyway. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And yeah, I would like to ask you guys, if you want this channel to continue, please like and share these videos. It does not do anything for my ego for you to like the videos, but I get a lot of rad people with rad who watch these videos and they unlike them. My stepdaughter watches them and she has multiple different fake accounts and unlikes the videos in, you know, under each one of those names. So that prevents these videos from being able to be found when someone's searching for them. So the more likes I have, the easier it is for YouTube to suggest these videos to someone who's maybe searching what is reactive attachment disorder. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day and I'll talk to you next time. So until then, bye-bye for now.